everyone, thanks for joining me. We're going to be making a planner pouch today. This has an elastic with a zipper pouch so that you can keep all of your writing utensils, your planner stickers, if you're a journal writer, anything you need, receipts on the go. You could hook this to your iPad, you could hook this to a notebook, you could hook this to a planner, a journal. Perfect for students and all kinds of different occasions, different people, different ways to use this elastic planner pouch. You can make it bigger or smaller, super easy to modify the size of this. This one is about 8.5, 8.25 finished size tall. I think you guys are going to enjoy this. It's a really beginner friendly, easy project. Don't let the zipper scare you. I'm going to walk you through step by step, and it takes very little products. So without further ado, let's get started. Here's what you need for the planner pouch. You need 2 pieces of fabric cut to 8.5 by 8.5, 8.5 inches square. This is going to be my outer, this is going to be my lining. Optional, if you want, on the back of your outer fabric, you can cut a piece of interfacing 7.5 by 7.5, place that down. That's going to give you a 1/2 inch free seam allowance, and you can add that. I used a medium weight. This is probably a little bit thicker than I would want. I would recommend a shape flex or a light interfacing if you're going to add interfacing. You don't have to. On the first one I made, I didn't put any in it. Second of all, you're going to need a zipper. You want it to be at least a 9-inch zipper, and I'm using this is a 14-inch zipper. I would recommend a 10 or a 12, just so that you have extra wiggle room here. It's going to make it easier when we go to top stitch. So I would recommend at least a 10-inch zipper. And then you need a piece of this double fold elastic. I got this at Amazon. I'll link the one that I got below. It came with a whole bunch of different colors. But you need a piece of that cut to 9.5 inches. So beyond that, you need your regular sewing notions, a sewing machine. If you have a serger, you're going to want to use that on this project. If you don't worry about it. You can make it without serging. So the first thing we're going to do is take our zipper, and we're going to leave the pull and the edges on the zipper. We're going to turn it over so that the pull side is down, but we're working on this end. And you're just going to fold this flap over, and I'm just going to clip it so that you can see it. So we're just going to fold that flap over towards the back on both sides of the zipper. Take that over to your sewing machine and just tack those down. And I would recommend tacking it towards the edge, but you're just tacking those tails down, and again, they're facing the back of the zipper. You can see I've just lightly tacked it down. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is line our zipper up with our outer fabric. We're going to put the zipper pull down so that it's facing the pretty side of the fabric. You're going to go in just about 1/4 inch from that edge and clip your zipper into place. I find it easier to just unzip it, get that zipper pull out of the way. And again, I'm just going in about 1/4 inch, and we're just going to clip that into place. All right, so what we're going to do now is grab our lining fabric and put it pretty side down on top, and we're going to add that to our sandwich. Just make sure that everything is lined up. All right, now you want to take that over to the sewing machine, and you're going to stitch from end to end, securing all 3 layers into place. Try to hit about the middle of your zipper. So that's about a little less than 1/4 inch right along that zipper. Okay, so now it looks like this. So what you're going to do is open it up. Let's zip our zipper up just to get oriented here. So we have it like this. So you're looking at your pretty side of your outer fabric. If you open it up, you're looking at the back side of the lining fabric. So now what you're going to do is fold this lining fabric up to this edge of the zipper. And again, I'm going to unzip it now. I'm oriented. So I'm going to fold this up and line it up with that zipper. I'm gonna fold it up a little bit so I keep everything in line. And I'm keeping this edge straight. So right there. Now we've got that clipped into place. We're going to flip it over just like this. And now you can reach under there and unzip that zipper the rest of the way. There we go. So now you're going to pull the lining fabric up and line it up with the blue fabric or your outer fabric and clip that into place. So it looks like this. So we folded our lining fabric up to the zipper and then we folded our outer fabric up to the zipper. Now you're going to take that over the sewing machine and again stitch all the way down. Okay, so it looks like this. Now what you're going to do is reach inside and turn it right side out. Oops, I laid her fabric on there. So it should look like this when you turn it right side out. So now what you want to do is take it over to the ironing surface and iron this lining away and iron that so everything is nice and smooth and flat. And then you're going to take it over to your sewing machine and you're going to top stitch along this edge and along this edge. This is why it helps to have a longer zipper because you're able to get in there and top stitch all the way down. So go ahead and do your top stitching. Okay, so I have top stitched along the top on both sides along the zipper. I don't know if you can see, you can probably see it better on the back side. Right there. Okay, so now you want to put it so that your lining fabric is face down. And what you're going to do is fold it in half, just like this, and establish where those center marks are. You can mark that with a chalk marker, you can mark it with a fabric marker, whatever you want. Just use this little chalk pencil. All right, so I have my center line established. I can also see a crease. It's kind of hard for you to see. So what you're going to do is take your elastic and you're going to place that flush with this edge and clip it right on that center mark. Same thing on this end. You're going to have a little bit of extra in here, you should. Clip it. Okay, so now what you want to do is you're going to close that zipper up. Just like that. And you're going to make the center meet right where that tape is. Just like that. Add that to your clip. Same thing on this end. You're going to have that zipper tail hanging off of there. Undo your clip and just meet it right in there. If it makes it easier, you can go ahead and cut this off. So now what you're going to do is take this over to the sewing machine and you're going to stitch with a 1/4 inch seam allowance right along this edge. Make sure you backstitch at the beginning and the end. Go to this end, you're going to do the exact same thing. Make sure that your zipper is partially open. So I'm gonna actually open mine a little bit more just to make it easier. All right, so then again, you're just going to sew with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, backstitching at the beginning and the end, down this end and down this end. Once you're done with that, if you don't have a serger, then you want to run a zigzag along that edge to secure your raw edges. Same thing on this end. If you have a serger, then you can then run it through the serger. So I'm going to stitch these down and then I'll come back and show you where I'm going to serge. Okay, so I sewed this end down, and I went ahead and zigzagged across that raw seam. See if we can get that to focus so that you could see what I mean. I sewed the 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then I zigzagged the raw edge. Now I'm going to do this end. I'm going to sew the 1/4 inch seam, and then I'm going to use my serger on the edge, and I'll show you the difference. So I sewed this end, I went ahead and clipped my zipper. Now I'm going to serge it. So this end is serged, so you can see the difference. Both of them are equally effective. This serger just makes a little bit neater of an edge. It cuts the fabric as it serges the end, where the zigzag is just me zigzagging along the edge. Okay, so you want to go ahead and cut any remaining threads. Also, if you have an excess seam allowance, cut those corners. Make sure you don't cut your stitches. Mine looks good, so I'm going to reach inside and turn this right side out. You want to make sure you get those corners poked out. Your elastic should be in the back, but if it's like this when you turn it right side out, just flip it around. And there you have it. So here is my planner. Just going to stick this like this. And voila, you have a super cute planner pouch where you can put all of your pens, markers, clips, whatever you want inside here and take it with you, stickers. You could make this as big or as small as you want. Again, this was an 8.5 by 8.5 inch square to start with. And I just wanted to show you the difference in using interfacing or not. Let me take this stuff out. So this is the one that I made with the interfacing, and again, I used a medium weight. This is actually not too bad, but you can see it's kind of stiff. It stands up on its own. Here's the one I made without interfacing. So it is a lot looser. However, once you put it on the planner, it straightens out and it works just fine. It's just not got the structure that this one has. So I do like this interfacing. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share the video. Also, I would love it if you make these, if you tag me on social media. I always enjoy seeing your version of the projects that we create. And thanks so much for watching. Again, don't forget to click that like button and be sure and hit that bell notification so that you're notified every time I put out a new video. See you guys.